Can you hear that?
Yeah.
All my friends know the Lowrider.
Hey, I'm Mitchell Davis, a Laravel developer.
Mate, you've gone red. I'm Gavin, head of sales and marketing at SixSides.
That's it. We are building SixSides.co, an events platform that helps you build a stronger community through events. This is our B2B SaaS journey. Mate, episode 12. How are you going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm excited. Maybe we should explain why we put on Lowrider at the start of and it's kind of the theme of this episode. So, do you want to give us a Lowrider story?
Well, yeah, Lowrider. Obviously, I was watching Gone in 60 Seconds a few weeks ago, and I really liked that when they go about to start burgling the cars, right? They played Lowrider, got everyone aligned, and if we were in an office together, we would do something similar, right? We would talk about it, sit around, get pump switch into, being client focused. And I thought, since we're away from each other, we work remotely, is let's just do that and have a bit of fun before a meeting, because it's actually a really fun song. And I remember we had a meeting the other day with a client, and I listened to it, and at the end I was like, yeah, awesome. And then
you're pumped up.
Yeah, I was pumped up, but you weren't pumped up as much. So I was like, listen to this from now on. You're like, done. Yeah,
it worked, because then we had another meeting after you told me about that, and we were vibing, so it was good.
Yep.
And it's funny, immediately I knew, like, as soon as you sent through the song, like Spotify link on Slack, I was like, Gone in 60 Seconds. Like, that's the only spot now that people like are hearing that song from.
Yep.
So great movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's well worth it. But yeah, it worked. Totally got us pumped up. And I think we could keep doing that at least until it wears off. But yeah, it's fun. Nice to have those like fun little things, that you do.
Yeah. I think having an energy change too, right? Like if you go you're representing the brand and the business out into the market, and you're working on something in the business, and like same as what you do, right? We're working internally from, I think having that energy change or recognizing the energy change is really good, because it helps switches us to being client focused. So yeah, I'm loving it. Even then, pumped up. Good way to start.
Yeah. I think we couldn't do that every episode though, or you're right, we'll get in trouble. But anyway, we'll see. Well, I wanted to take just a quick second. I've been listening to some other podcasts about making podcasts, and something that they have recommended is to like give a random shout out to different like people that are doing different things at different times while they're listening to your show. So for this episode, I won't do this every episode, but for this episode, if you happen to be walking the dog right now, shout out to you. Send us a quick a tweet or a LinkedIn or a Blue Sky. Just send us something. Send us an email if you like. Just let us know. Hey, I'm walking the dog right now. I'm listening to the show.
That makes sense. I saw that on the Trello board, and I was like, what does that mean? So, yeah. So
there we go. So I'll pick different ones. Each.
What is the email address, Mitch?
The email address. It's journey@sixsides.co.
Okay.
We'll put it in the show notes, and we'd love to get an email from you if you've got anything to tell us. You want to give us feedback about the show? Something else that was mentioned on this podcast that I was listening to, it's by Justin Jackson, and I think it's Jeremy Inns. I'll put a link to it also in the show notes so you can go suss it out. But the another recommendation that they had was to ask people for feedback on would they be willing to share the show to other people that they think in their networks that might be interested. And if they wouldn't, to give us feedback on why that is. So if the show isn't bringing you any value and it's just a bit of fun, but you don't think it would be that fun for other people, let us know. Maybe we can make some changes. If it's our cover art, if it's our goofy intros, what is it? If anything, right? And if you are comfortable sharing, great. then let us know if you've done that as well. We would appreciate that, just to try and get some more feedback on how we're going, because we're now 3 months in. It'd be great to get in front of some more people and to get some feedback. So
Yeah.
thank you.
And if you are, I guess if you do like it and you are subscribed, if everything is positive, we could ask you to share it with 1 or 2 people. That would be really great. It helps us with getting the word out there.
100%.
Got a question for you, Mitch. What's the podcast name that you were talking about? You just mentioned before, the guys from Transistor, right?
It is one of them from Transistor. I will find the name of it while I'm doing that. Maybe you can keep riffing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just waiting. Yeah. So my question is how do they name their podcast? Do they name it about the topics for what the audience might get out of it, or do they name it for the topics or what they speak about?
So their show rather, is called Podcast Marketing Trends Explained. By Jeremy Enns and Justin Jackson. And then they name their episodes like episode 1, The Hard Truth About Growing a Podcast Today. Episode 2, Too Hard to Spot But Very Real Problems Suffocating Your Podcast Growth. And that's the one that I listened to recently. So quite specific with the names.
Yeah, so they're tailoring the name for the person who might be listening. So I'm not sure whether we're doing that as such in our podcast name. So maybe we need to think about pivoting or changing our name to be what the reader might get out of it.
Do you mean the episode titles or the show name?
No, the episode titles.
Right? So we were doing that originally. Like episode 1, what happens when a developer and a sales expert join forces? And then 2, how we're actually finding our first customers. The first probably 6 episodes were like, kind of SEO type titles. And I was doing that thinking, maybe this will help. But if we go look at the analytics on Transistor, like those episodes, I don't think did like any better than I suppose like those were early days. But yeah, like episode 2 had 2 listens episode 1 had 2 listens in the first 2 days. Since then, it's probably had 30 listens or something like that. But nothing crazy. Like there's no big outliers. So our biggest episode is number 10. The reviews are in. So, and I kind of, the reason I've started not doing, now a month and a half ago, I stopped doing the like SEO type titles was because the shows that I listen to, like often the episode title will be like just something that got said during the episode, just a little like a phrase or something that just happened to get said. Or like something that I think will be interesting, like the $5,000 letter. Like we didn't say that in the episode, but I knew like going into that conversation, that's a fairly catchy title, So we could try and treat this as like an educational piece. And I think if we were to do that, then making the titles really descriptive and SEO based might help. But I don't know if that's the type of show that I really want to do. I like that this is us. This is us just kind of having fun. And sure, we'll bring on guests occasionally. And we hope that people get some useful stuff out of this. But I like that it's a bit more like free flowing, loosey goosey.
I'm just looking at number 1, for instance, what happens when a developer and a sales expert join forces. Maybe just a slight tweak on that could be why we think a developer and a sales expert will make a stronger force or something, or will make a stronger team, right? And then if someone's thinking of developing something, then they go, hang on, I'm a sales, but maybe I should look at getting a developer as a co-founder. And just slight tweaks like that. So, anyway, that's just just slight tweaks for how it might be benefit the listener, I think, as a little bit. And we're not changing any of our content. I think both of us come from vast experiences from other areas, and we're bringing this into here. So, anyway, it's
okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
we'll see.
Yep. Mel says we'll see too. I know what that means. Means no. I'm just
Well,
delaying it. Yeah.
no. So we can try it if you like. We can, and let's see if it makes any meaningful difference.
Sure.
Let's try making like the next month of episodes be more about what we actually talked about.
Okay. So we're 12 weeks in. So first of all, congratulations.
Likewise.
Let's do the next 12 weeks, right? Period of time. And we'll do
another 12. I was thinking another 4.
No.
You already six of these I played the game. And then so let's do 6 weeks then. I'll give you 6 more weeks of playing the game.
Playing the game. What's the game?
The game is doing your SEO titles to see if it appeals. But
okay, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, 6 weeks.
So what's today, mate? So what are we going to cover today? How was your week last week? Maybe we do the week in review.
We could do the week in review, absolutely. So I'm not yet ready to talk about infrastructure. I think I will next week. So we might make next week a bit of a technical, heavier episode.
So just with that at a high level, though, you've come up with a whole different approach to just something that's going to really set us up for the
and cut our costs is like a significant driver behind why I'm looking at this thing. But I don't want to talk too much now because I'm going to repeat it all next week. But if you're interested in that, reach out, let us know.
Give a teaser, Mitch. Give a teaser. Come
on.
I
already gave a teaser last week, but I don't want to keep like, we're going to talk about this, and then we don't talk about it. So we'll move on from that. But I have spent a lot of time over the last week working on infrastructure. We're now using Cloudflare to handle our DNS records, which is kind of a first for me in 10 years, something like that. Since then, I've been all in on Amazon and using their DNS service, Route 53. And so having to learn Cloudflare again for reasons that I'll explain next week has been a fun challenge. So that's been good. I've been working on the mobile app. So the new SixSides mobile app. Over the weekend, I got us signed up to the App Store and Play Store with new developer accounts. And so waiting for all of that stuff to go through review. The Play Store in particular is a nightmare. You have to provide so much stuff. There's 100 questions basically that they end up asking you, and it's brutal. You have to do it. So I was able to reference a lot of the same answers that I gave for the Laracon Australia app last year. So I could kind of have them on both screens and then just copy answers over. So it wasn't too bad, but it's not fun.
So some context around this is our upcoming events that we have that of with current clients of towards the end of the year, right? So we thought we had some time, but something has popped up on our radar that we're not ready to talk about that could see us running an event in June that has put an incredible amount of pressure on it's moved everything up in a timeline that has, it's made you have to look at something look at it differently. And so we're accelerating. That's why you've come in on the weekend. And but could be a game-changing opportunity if we do it right.
It could. So why don't we make next week talking a bit about that, assuming we've got approvals, hopefully this week. So why don't we talk about technical stuff, and we'll talk about this new opportunity at least a bit on next recording. So so that's kind of been the big driver of really getting stuff done, and it's been fun. It's a challenge. There's a lot to do to get things ready to a point that I'd be happy with it in production. But I'm getting through it. I experimented with this technology called Terraform for the first time, and it's this way to spin up new infrastructure, new servers or databases or accounts or whatever using code, basically. So I can give you a file, and if you run this file, you'll then create your own copy of all of the infrastructure that you need. It's probably an easy way to put it. So I have used competitors to this, like other alternative technologies to Terraform before. Mainly CloudFormation is one of them, for those in the know. I'm quite familiar with CloudFormation, but it's got a lot of limitations on it, and things that you can't do that you can do in Terraform. And I basically spent all of Saturday learning about Terraform and using it for the first time to create some accounts and do different things. I got to the end of the day on Saturday as I was driving home, and I was just like, this is taking way too long. I can't afford to do this right now. So I think ultimately we'll be able to import any of the infrastructure that I have now just created manually, or we're using Laravel Vapor as well, and it has a lot of this stuff kind of built in. It can create different infrastructure for us. Eventually, I think we'll move to Terraform, but there's no time to do this right now. So yeah, on the drive home, I'm just basically going to scrap all of that work that I did. I'll save it so I can come back to it later. But like, I'm not proceeding with that right now. We just don't have the time, so we got to move a lot quicker. So that's kind of been it as far as the stuff I've been doing, and listening to Lowrider. So
fair enough. Fair enough. So some feedback. We've made a pivot in the app, right? Before, like you did your MVP last year, and it was an individual app for Laracon AU. We have since decided to move to a standalone SixSides app where it would then filter down into the events. And there's many reasons for that. But essentially, we want to help foster community engagement and growth beyond an event. But we had a feedback from our second client. I don't think we're ready to share the name of that yet, but do you want to share that? Because they were really excited and
They were, that was great. So, yeah, we spoke with this client. They were very happy with the flow of how someone would download the SixSides app and then punch in a ticket code and now instantly be logged into their event. We've shown them some screenshots of some of the different like dashboards and other screens I was able to just share with the iOS simulator on my computer, just share screen and just kind of walk them through some of the different things that we're thinking in the app. And that was great. They were loving it. So
it's do you feel validating?
Yeah, it's nice to know that, okay, in particular, one of the big things we've been concerned about is will event organizers be happy with having a SixSides app as opposed to a Laracon Australia app, and so it was validating, and it made me, like relieved to hear that, it's fantastic. And like for them, they weren't even, this client that we're talking about, it doesn't appear that they were even thinking about their own app in the App Store. It was just kind of expected, which, to be fair, is like, for our accounting software, I'm not expecting Xero to create a SixSides accounting app just for us, right? Like you log in, you're using their service. It makes sense, but it was really nice to get that feedback from an early customer. It's great.
I think it's safe to say they just weren't happy with it. They were really happy with it. Holly was busy taking notes. She was like, I've got so many ideas, and they're on the same page here. Like there's so much alignment there. I think in our last few meetings with people, I think our ideal client profile or our ideal buying persona or our target persona has certainly started bubbling to the surface a bit here, which is helping centralized lead generation, which is probably, we could do an update on that next about where we are with that. So,
well, let's do that. Why don't we get into that now?
Yeah. So lead generation. So lead generation is going okay. It's slow in the early days. We don't want to go too crazy on it because we just can't. We don't have capacity during the rewrite to be able to take on more leads. But basically, I'm using Apollo at the moment. I believe I've got a bit of an issue. We did have the D mark not working, I don't think, last week, but that's been fixed now.
Yep.
but we definitely got some people who are interested in having a conversation. But I'm not seeing some information come through Apollo. So either we're going to spam or
Right.
something's happening.
Okay.
I think we need to run a few more tests on that first before we figure that out. I'll talk to Apollo and just uncover that because what I'm seeing is because I do lead generation for my other business and some other clients. What I'm seeing here is not consistent with what I'm seeing across other areas. So I haven't got something figured out yet. I think we're in a warm-up phase, ramp-up phase. So there could be something
right.
there. Yep.
So Apollo does that same type of sending out a bunch of emails to like fake addresses, basically, right? Like it does all of that.
Well, it doesn't send it to fake addresses that I know of. It goes slow, so it doesn't flag the domain, and we don't want to flag the domain. So we also don't have we haven't got a funnel that can self-onboard people. So we don't. I don't think this is going to be our strategy long term. We have an hypothesis at the moment of what our product-led growth may be, but we're all still going out to market. So we'll know in the next 2 months whether our hypothesis is right.
Okay.
And then we're happy to share those results later on. But yeah, it's going okay. We've got some people who want to talk in a month or so. We've got some other leads. So we've got leads coming in. It's not going too bad.
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Did you expect it to be doing better or worse or about the same?
I expected to see more results on Apollo just to see if people are opening emails up, but I don't have that visibility at all. So I think something's broken.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think something's not right. So I can see that they're delivered. I'm looking at them being delivered, but I have no visibility. There's just no tracking on the email. I don't know what's going on. So it says tracking disabled. I'll need to speak to Apollo to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's good that you, with your experience at least, you're able to recognize like, hey, something's wrong. I have more information than this, you know?
Yep.
So that's good.
The challenge comes from I use other lead generation tools for my LinkedIn profile, but they're focused around sales market fit. So I'm looking at mainly targeting founders on that side. So most of my content on sales market on LinkedIn is around, sales strategy and things like that. So I don't quite know how to pivot from that and do LinkedIn outreach for SixSides.
Yeah.
I just don't think that will work. So I need to figure out another way here.
Maybe we should be leveraging my account, like, because I'm not posting anywhere near as much as you. I don't have as strong of a personal brand as you.
Yep.
Maybe we should be using mine.
Sure. But the thing is that you do that, you become the focus of the response, and then it's expected to be in the sales conversations later. So you could do that, but then everything that you don't want to do becomes what you need to do next. So that's the problem with that.
Okay.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
I get it. If they get outreach from Mitchell Davis, they're expecting then that, where's Mitch? Why is he on this call? You know.
Yeah.
So,
and why is the sale and it just becomes everything that it just takes up your time then.
Yeah.
But then there is other options we have, which we could do with lead generation about doing cold outreach to a webinar or an event, right? Opposed to doing to try to get them to engage in conversation. There are other options there, and that works as well. So we will think about that. First and foremost, we've got to get Apollo fixed up. So
sure.
But we have leads coming in. Word of mouth is our biggest referral, as our biggest lead generation tool at the moment. So
which is I've heard is like the best one, right?
It's the best one, but it's also the slowest. And we don't have results yet. It's just you should talk to these. It's not like, hey, they've got an event and they want to talk to you. It's not that kind of referral fee. Or we've used them, they're amazing. We're not there yet. So,
we'll get there. Fingers crossed in just a short few months. We'll have some things some runs on the board, some more runs on the board. So cool.
it could actually be an idea is to ask the people who have agreed to work with us if they know anyone else that's running events and if they could make an introduction, right?
Yeah.
So we have 2 now. We could have a 3rd or 4th very soon.
Yeah.
To ask them, it might make, we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Well, some updates. Merch. So you have ordered the shirts, which is exciting.
I certainly have. Ordered
What did you order?
a couple of different shirts and a jumper. We're heading, or a hoodie. We're heading into winter here. As you can see, I've got my red jumper on, which Mel absolutely hates me wearing the red jumper. I had
Is it
another
Heels
one.
Hoist? What is the
Heels
HH?
hoist. It's not a Heels Hoist. Heels Hoist is, I don't know what it is. It's a overseas brand.
Right.
I had a red jumper that I've had for like almost 10 years, and she hid it on me. So she finally felt guilty and bought me this one. So I've got, got a couple of shirts, a couple of hoodies, a couple of hats as well, because we know that we're kind of known as the hat startup, right?
I think so. Yeah.
You can tell the week's podcast by how big the tuft is coming out.
Yeah.
Because
that's
now
right.
I'm almost due for a haircut.
You got to get a haircut. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem.
So we've kind of held off on other merch at the moment. It's just because we don't want to get something that's corny. We're thinking about some options, but we don't need to rush on that because we want to give it to a client when they come working with us, but we don't want to just give them a power bank because that's done to the nth degree. So we've held off on that a little bit. So yeah, couple of shirts, few shirts, and then we'll just have that on. I've got a rack here. I'm sure you've got one here as well. We'll just have our shirts in a closet whenever we're changing.
Yeah,
hats.
that's right.
We'll just put the shirts on. So
need a hat rack as well, I think. We'll have to get a few different options. But what I would like long term would be, in addition to some of these like physical ideas that we're thinking for sending to customers, I would like to have some
personal designer to help you get dressed. You spoke about that offline.
Maybe, that's right. Hey, that was a private conversation. I would like to have a series of different T-shirts that have like different designs that aren't strictly just our logo. Like something that's a bit more fun. Like my kind of seems to be my favorite company, Transistor. They had these shirts done up years ago that was like a skeleton or something like that. And that's totally unrelated to their, or maybe it was a dinosaur. I'm not quite sure. It's been a long time since I've listened to it. But they had these shirts done that still had like the Transistor logo on it, but I'm pretty sure it was a dinosaur now I think about it. And it's totally unrelated to their brand, but like fun shirt. I think that's a bit more interesting than just sending someone like something, some article of clothing that's got our logo on it and nothing else. It's not necessarily an incentive for them.
So are you talking about like limited edition shirts? Like we would run like, okay.
Yeah, like maybe, this is the 2025 SixSides like custom shirt, or something like that. And then I can only spending, could get like a design done for like a few $100s, print off 10 of those shirts in a year. You and I get one and we give one to our partners or whatever, and then maybe some customers, like just something fun, just to like kind of like we're recording this show to look back on in the past. Like, wouldn't it be cool to have 5 years worth of SixSides shirts in the closet, or whatever, like, oh, that's right, and we did this that time. Like,
so would you think about, or would you consider we do that, run a limited edition set of shirts a year, 20, 30, 50, whatever it is, and then we could donate the money from that. We could sell some to people, but then donate that to charity. We could find a charity to donate.
Maybe. Do you honestly think people would buy them?
Maybe if we're doing it to a good cause, like.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I suppose that's an appeal to people. If not, it could just be, okay, we
Keep the
make
money.
these shirts. No.
I,
Oh,
I was way off.
you brought up this charity thing.
I was way off.
We charge double.
Yeah.
No, we could just create, like, incur the expense to produce these shirts and then give them to customers, or something. I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but it might be nice to have these as, like, it's a fun, relatively cheap, $1,000 a year it costs us in producing these, or whatever, 1,500, some smallish amount to produce some bespoke merch for that gear,
Yeah.
or something. And I'm not saying, oh, we absolutely have to do this and let's go place another order right now. This is kind of pie in the sky stuff, but
Yeah.
it might be fun to start thinking of more like sentimental stuff so that we've got something to look at, 5 years from now.
Sure. I think we need a critical mass first before we start looking at that, right? We need to have a set of repeatable customers, and then other people growing using the platform. And I think we have options there to do certain things. So, I think focusing on building a strong brand that gives us options to do that, right?
Yeah.
So, which is so far with the people we've started working with, I think our brand and our reputation is strong. So, we just got required to continue that. Yeah.
We'll keep at it. We're having fun doing this podcast, and it is fun, like, getting to share a bit of our personalities with customers that we're having conversations with and stuff. It's not so, like, corporate, So it's good. I think it's working. We'll just keep at it. But we will try for the next 6 weeks these boring SEO titles. We'll see. Maybe we'll double our listenership. So.
There is definitely an emotional component to people wanting to work for us to help people, right? They're passionate about growing their community. It's just not a business transaction. And I think that is highlighted that we have a real opportunity to help our clients in a real fundamental, meaningful way, right? That is beyond just a business need. So
all right.
Mate, I've been ignoring this.
You didn't want to bring this one up.
No,
but
I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up.
I forced your hand here. So why don't you tell the story?
No, I don't want to. You tell it.
So if you go back to, where was it? It was
a while ago.
It might have been a while ago, maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago. I can't believe we didn't write it in there. A few episodes ago, Gavin presented to the podcast, and it's on we shared screen, so check it out on YouTube if you want to go back and see it. Presented a banner that was going to go on our LinkedIn pages, because they have this new, like, rotating banner thing at the top of your LinkedIn page now. And you had sent this to me in Slack, and you were like, what do you think about this? And I was like, yep, it's cool. I might just make a few tweaks if you don't mind. And so here we go. If you're watching now on YouTube, Gavin's sharing screen. So these banners, and even now looking at this, I would make changes to my one. So everything changes week to week. But anyway, the gist is Gavin created this banner. I then made an edit to the banner, and then we put it up as a competition on LinkedIn to ask people to vote for which one they liked more. And I think, Gavin, why don't you tell? It would be a bit crude of me to say.
You're rubbing your nose in it. Yeah.
Why don't you tell us how it went?
Essentially, generally, is the consensus was Mitch's for sure, right? There was a design. One of my clients, he's actually very strong on design. Their website's called Kicking Pixels, if you want to check it out. But he actually wrote, and I quote, he actually wrote, don't, he said, say it in bold what you do, not verbatim, but he actually said, say it in bold, don't make it opaque, or whatever it was. So, which is what I was doing. I was trying to make the message more subtle. He said, "Don't do that." He said, "Make it loud." And so yeah, you won. I actually took your design. I changed it a little bit with the logo. I added our logo, contrasting colors on the logo into it, but I've put that into our LinkedIn banner, in my LinkedIn banner. So now it flicks across in the slideshow. Have you done that
Very
with
nice.
yourself as well?
I have not, but I
Yep.
should.
Yep.
Yeah, very
Absolutely.
nice. Looks good,
Yep.
mate. Looks really good.
Yeah, it was you win, Mitch. It was the right call. I'm happy to be proactive and bring that up in our conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you. It's nice to win. And I promise I will not rub it in your face at all. So
What would you change in that banner that you said that even now?
I think
looking
I
at it-
might flip the colors and make the text, the main part of the text in white, I think. Oh, in black, and then make that stronger part in white. And yeah, probably also use one of our different variations on our logo there. But I would keep it 90% the same. I'm happy with how it's all laid out and everything. Just a few little tweaks to colors. So if I end up changing that, I will send it over to you. You can update it. But we appreciate the people that voted. So that took their time to vote on it. So thank you.
So Mitch, we're 12 weeks into the podcast. We've been doing this since December. What have you noticed over that 12-week journey of us doing the podcast? Like where have you has it gone the way that you thought?
One, loving working together. It's going really well. We had some I've had some stuff going on just on my side of the fence lately that's made it a bit harder to get in and work on SixSides, and you and I have been talking. I'm not going to fully go into any of that on here. We don't need to, but you've been really supportive. So in addition to you just being really good with sales and doing outreach and doing all the stuff I don't want to do, you're also like a really good person. And so that shone through with you reaching out to help. That is something that has been great about working together more closely, because you and I have known each other for years now, but it's not like we were speaking every week. So now we are. Doing this podcast is still a huge highlight for the week. Forces us to get together, talk about stuff, but it's also fun. Like, it's good. I'm really enjoying doing this, and I'm glad you were up for doing this as well, because I've had other businesses with other business partners. I would have never suggested doing anything like this with other people before. So that's been good. And then our customers, awesome. Like, we're yet to have a meeting with anyone that I don't like, like everyone's been great, and everyone that we talk to, almost everyone that we talk to is super excited about what we're doing and like how it can help them grow their communities. Like, it's just all around, it's fun. It's a really fun project to work on. And, we've got these 2 locked in customers that have paid now, and potentially another 2 really promising customers coming through in the next week, hopefully.
Yep.
It's exciting. Things are moving forward, and I'm just really enjoying it. So there's a lot of work to be done, especially over this next month. But after that, it ought to calm down a bit. And I'm just trying to enjoy every second of it. So it's good. What about you?
The question for you. I think it's pivoted even now in a short time. We had this conversation in December last year, right? About whether we should do this or not.
Yep.
It's in a completely different space than where we originally thought it would be, even over the last 6 months. We're 6 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that been? Because it's completely different.
Yeah. Originally, you very quickly were like, no, this isn't an event thing. This is a community thing. And that wasn't what I had in my mind at all when I first put this all together and reached out to you, right? So that took a little adjusting to do. I remember when we first got it, like we got our first rejection or our first deal that just kind of didn't eventuate for a few different reasons. I remember speaking to you, and that was in over the Christmas New Year's period. I remember speaking to you like, can't we just do an event app, that's just like a no-brainer? Why have we got to add all this community to it? And you were like, well, then there's no point of difference. It's not, and you just weren't really happy with that. I kind of had to take that on board, think about it, and be like, well, yeah, I think you're right. Like, I do believe in what we're doing, trying to connect people together in a meaningful way, and we be that icebreaker, we be that reason for them to go say hello to someone, that they otherwise wouldn't have had the confidence to or the inclination to do. So I do believe it. I'm very happy that, okay, it feels like this business and our platform has a voice, not this podcast, I don't mean, but just like, okay, we have a mission. We have something that we're trying to do.
We've really taken a position in the market.
Yeah.
I think I think what happens is with businesses is they try to adapt their value proposition to just get a client to buy, right? Opposed to saying, no, this is our position and it applies to you in this way. If it doesn't work with you, like we're about to we've marked a position with a potential client now and saying, it's okay if you don't think that way, but because otherwise you end up trying to be all these different things to people and you're just a chameleon opposed to trying to help them with a very specific thing. So yeah. And I think we've taken a position and I think it's really important. It's easier for us to center ourselves around that position, right?
Yeah.
Because we always know where we are. That's our guiding light. So I think it's really important. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's me. What about you?
I think since December, this hasn't changed. Like exactly as soon as we come up with that thing in December, and I'm always looking for, we need to have a competitive advantage or have a position in a ground, in a red ocean of just an event app. It will quickly become frustrating, I think, over time. But now when we find the right person, it's not hard. Even now, like, it should not be hard to find sales, and it's not. We're not even really trying yet, and it's actually, we're getting our foundational clients. Right. And I've been in businesses where it is like pulling teeth, a year to find a lead and a year to close it out. But yes, it's high price point, different industries. But if it's going to grow into maybe, look, if we're lucky, 10, 20, $30 million business, if we're lucky, right? Statistics are, it's probably not going to go that high, but we're bloody hopeful. It's got to be somewhat easy, right? And I think it's been fantastic. Like, just, it's fun working on this. The challenge we have is we have our other businesses, and I think we're starting to align everything so we're getting multiples from pieces of work. But yeah, it's been great. Yeah, it's been great. It's been awesome seeing you iterate and rely on each other for our skills and what others aren't that great. And you know, personally, I just think just now you're going through some iterations and challenges in your business.
Yeah.
It's only a couple of months down the track and I'll be doing the same, and we'll lean on each other. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been really good. Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. I'm very pleased that this has come about. Like, I think back to probably August last year, a few months before my talk at Laracon, and just thinking about like, okay, what app am I going to build? I'm so glad that this is what I settled on, because it's led to all of this now. It's the reason we're doing this show. It's because of those decisions made almost a year ago now. It's cool. It's really cool to think back how different it could have been.
Yeah. When you think about it, like, when they say, oh, look, we're not an overnight success by any stretch of the imagination. That's not what I'm about to say. But like, we've got initial traction pretty quick, and we've got people, and then people go, oh, that's interesting. They just come up with an idea and execute it. Now, the reality is you've been doing your thing for 10 or 15 years before, and I've been doing my thing, and now we've come together, and it's just all that experience is come together. Whether it flounders out in a couple of months or in 10 or 20 years, that is yet to be written. So yeah.
Mate, it's very exciting. Final topic that we've got here is wanted to ask you, should you go on other podcasts and be talking about what we're doing? So this is coming from me. This is my ticket on here, specifically calling you out because I think you're probably the more interesting podcast guest between the two of us.
Okay.
And I mean, maybe I could go on some more technical ones. That's totally fine. I'm not anti going on other people's shows, not at all. But
Sure.
I just wondered, as a part of this outreach strategy and getting the name out there and stuff, how does that sit with you?
Yeah, look, I think it's a good idea. Thanks for bringing it up. I think there's two different things. One is, are you just going out there to tell people what you're doing, or do you want to go out there and help people build community? And I think that like, would you go on community building podcasts to actually talk about how to get people to connect? But then that's a little bit self-promotion.
Yep.
The short answer is yes, because I have a strategy in Sales Market Fit to do the same.
Yeah.
When the time is right. So yes, the short answer is yes. About one-to-many and leveraging other audiences would be ideal. The other one is doing webinars around the topic of helping people build community.
Yeah.
Right? And
Okay.
getting that message out there. So yes, the short answer is yes. That's a lead generation strategy in time. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay. We'll
Yep.
watch this space then. We'll
Yeah, so-
keep people updated if and when
Yep.
that happens.
Yeah. So the thing is, we're going on. Who would appeal to what we're trying to do, right? And when we talk about people, like we want to help people build community through a different way, that's really appealing to everyone we speak to. But where do those people go? Do they listen to podcasts? And then if we can go to them and we can reach many, we're just not ready for it. We're not ready for it yet, but we're close. Yeah, we're close. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe over the next 6 months, as we've got an actual onboarding story for the app and got the dashboard and got all these like pieces in place, then we can be thinking about, well, yeah, you're right. Well, I guess in the meantime, we can already be thinking about it now, but what would be some good shows to try and get onto
Sure.
to get our message out there,
When I think of the technology adoption life cycle, which is you've got your innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. Have you seen that before? Yep. So I think we're trying to find the innovators at the moment and the early adopters, right? Because we haven't got a full onboarding process like that is automated.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to find those people who are willing. Not everyone's willing to give two people a go who are just starting a startup, right? There's too much risk that comes with that. So if we, by all means, once we have this done and we have a few case studies and someone can go to our website and go, yeah, let's get started. And we can start even to help them just run a small community event. By all means, I will be shouting from the rooftops, going, hey, look, and talking to all these people. So yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
We're just not
cool.
set up for it, right? Because we do get people interested. They come to us and they're like, oh, they can't go anywhere, right? You get one shot. I think you get one shot.
Right now it would have to be, okay, book a call with you, and it's just, it's a lot of effort. You may not even have time to take on 10 calls, you got a lot of other stuff going on. So, Anyway, it's I just wanted to get your thoughts on if you're up for it. Sounds like you are, but a bit later on. So.
In time. Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Cool.
So this week, mate, what are you working on?
Continuing to work on, I do have probably a majority of my week this week will have to be on client projects that I'm doing for Atlas. I've got some commitments there that I need to meet, but I will also, in the background, I will probably be working some really long days this week to continue trying to get the new app up and running and this new infrastructure and everything that we'll talk about next time. So juggling a few plates, but that's what's going on. I'm just still making a ton of progress as quick as I can towards the new app.
Sure. Okay. This week I'm working on refining our terms and conditions that we need to get prepared. And then we've got some grants that I think come to a deadline this week. So I'll be working on some government grants for funding that we'll work on. And then yeah, so that should be, I think the end of the week is the deadline on that. So
Okay,
yeah,
right.
and
I had totally forgotten. So yeah, I'm glad
me too, mate. Me
you're on
too.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I'll be working like evenings this week as well just to get that stuff out. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, why don't
yeah,
we talk about that when we next record? Let's
yeah,
have 3 things that we're going to go through next time. I'll get them all set up in Trello, and
sure.
we'll chat through what we're thinking about that after you've lodged the application.
Yep. And I hope by this week, the end of the week, we'll have some news about some new clients coming on board. So yeah,
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
fingers crossed.
exciting.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Cool. All right, mate. Well, where can people find you online?
Yep. Easiest place is LinkedIn. On Gavin Ty TYE, you can find me on LinkedIn. Also, we have our SixSides Twitter account. It's only new. We're not really using it too much, but it's there. I check it every day. It's SixSides events. And what about you, mate?
Perfect. You can find me, Mitch Dav, on basically everything: LinkedIn, Blue Sky, GitHub, if you like, if you're into that type of thing. Uh, we do also have a Blue Sky for SixSides. We also have a LinkedIn for SixSides. Mate, we got everything. We got all the accounts. So you'll find we got a YouTube. We're doing it all, you know. So we've got all of that. Check it out. We'd love if you'd leave us a rating or review. And if you were walking the dog, again, give us a shout out. This is your episode. All right. So,
Mate, all our social links are on our website, right? So if you just go to sixsides.co and everything's down there. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I should actually check and make sure that is. There might only be a few of them. We've got more to add now with all these new accounts. So anyway, we'll figure that out. All right. We will see you all next episode. Thank you.
All right, mate. See ya.
See ya.